As night falls, the city's hustle and bustle gradually fades away, while the lights on the court grow ever brighter. Spotlights hang high in the air, their beams converging on the center of the court, dispelling the slight chill of the night, and igniting the passion and enthusiasm in the hearts of a group of young players. A special friendly basketball game quietly unfolds on this court, gently enveloped by the lights. Here there are no professional referees, no fierce battles for rankings, and certainly no noisy commercial cheers. There is only a group of young players harboring basketball dreams, who, through running, jumping, passing and shooting, are writing a pure chapter of youth and passion. This was a meeting that transcended age groups, a heartwarming gathering between elementary and middle school students, using the ball as a bridge and the game as a bond. Every moment was filled with vitality and warmth, and every figure shone with the radiance of youth. Before the game began, the court was already completely filled with the teenagers' enthusiasm. The lights cast their shadows, stretching and shrinking, intertwining in every corner of the court. The smaller figures stood in contrast to the slightly taller ones, each one preparing earnestly, unwilling to let up even for a moment. Some warmed up methodically at the edge of the court, bending their knees to 90 degrees as they stretched their legs, pressing their hands against their calves to loosen their muscles, then rotating their ankles and moving their wrists, every joint moving through its full range of motion to ensure flexibility during the game. While dribbling in place, their palms pressed tightly against the ball, their wrists moved with fluid grace. The basketball bounced rhythmically at their feet, emitting a thump, thump, thump that sounded like a cheerful prelude to the upcoming game. Crisp and powerful, some of the young players gather in a small circle, quietly discussing game strategies. Some point to different spots on the court, tracing passing and defensive routes with their fingers. Their eyes are filled with seriousness and focus. Occasionally, they argue softly over a tactical detail, only to reach a consensus with a laugh. That pure dedication is particularly touching. Another group of teenagers practiced shooting repeatedly under the basket. With their feet shoulder-width apart, they bent their knees to lower their center of gravity and gather power. As they raised their arms, their elbows remained slightly bent, their eyes fixed firmly on the hoop. With a gentle flick of the wrist, the basketball traced a delicate arc under the lights, soaring toward the basket. Even if they missed, and the ball bounced off the backboard, they never lost heart. They quickly stepped forward to retrieve it, brushed off the dust, adjusted their stance, and tried again. The lights shone on their faces, and their tenacious refusal to give up was particularly dazzling. There was no elaborate opening ceremony, no grand speeches. The moment the first basketball was gently tossed into the air under the lights, this special nighttime friendly match officially began. The referee blew a soft whistle, and players from both teams quickly got into the game, darting swiftly across the court under the lights, instantly filling the arena with excitement. Regardless of age or grade level, every young player gave it their all, demonstrating their passion and dedication to basketball with boundless enthusiasm, and embodying the sense of responsibility expected of youth through their actions. Though the elementary school students were small in stature and relatively weak in strength, they possessed agility and quickness beyond their years. With lightning-fast reflex, they darted about under the lights like a group of energetic little elves. As they dribble, their bodies lean slightly forward, their small hands gripping the ball tightly with fingers hugging the surface. Their footwork is light and nimble as they change direction, their sneakers making a soft scraping sound against the floor. When passing, they extend their arms and flick their wrists, delivering the ball precisely to a teammate. Even if a pass goes awry, they immediately regroup, sprint into position to receive the ball, and never give up easily. On defense, they spread their arms wide, lower their center of gravity, and crouch slightly, closely tracking their opponent's movements with focused, determined eyes. Even if an opponent breaks through their defense, they immediately turn and give chase, shouldering their passion for basketball with their youthful strength. Every move is executed with exceptional seriousness, and every attempt is filled with courage. The middle school students, on the other hand, display a greater sense of composure and skill, standing tall with fluid movements. Every gesture reveals the technique and teamwork honed over time. When they dribble, the ball dances nimbly at their fingertips, as if fused with their palms. Even when faced with tight defense, they effortlessly change direction to break through, their footwork steady and powerful. When passing, their eyes are sharp, quickly locking onto teammates' positions with their peripheral vision. Their arms deliver the ball with a smooth, controlled motion, sending it soaring through the air in a straight arc to land securely in a teammate's hands, almost never missing the mark, demonstrating exceptional teamwork and chemistry. When shooting, they bend their knees, lean back slightly, and tilt their bodies forward, applying gentle pressure with their wrists. The basketball flies out with power, tracing a graceful arc under the lights, often landing steadily in the hoop, and drawing waves of cheers and applause from the young spectators. They didn't let up just because their opponents were elementary school students. Instead, they proactively slowed down the pace, simplified their tactics, and treated every young player with patience and encouragement. When a young player missed a pass, they would bend down to pick up the ball, gently hand it back, and smile, encouraging them to try again. When a young player ran their hardest but couldn't catch up, they would deliberately slow down or even gently nudge the ball toward them, creating opportunities for them to catch and shoot. This kindness and warmth, illuminated by the lights, filled the entire court with a heartwarming atmosphere. The game was in full swing, under the floodlights. Every moment was full of excitement, and every move left a lasting impression. On one side of the court, a young elementary school student lowered his center of gravity, shielded the ball with his left hand, and dribbled deftly with his right. With quick footwork, he skillfully evaded the middle schooler's defense, dribbled through the defensive line, and sprinted toward the basket. He pushed off the floor, jumped, raised the ball above his head with both hands, and threw it with all his might toward the hoop. Although the ball ultimately grazed the backboard and bounced away, failing to score, his courageous drive and unwavering determination earned him the applause and cheers of everyone in the arena. On the other side of the court, the junior high students' seamless teamwork was equally impressive. One player, facing two elementary school defenders while dribbling, didn't force a drive, but instead quickly shifted his body, flicked his wrist, and delivered a precise pass to a teammate standing beyond the three-point line. The teammate, catching the ball without a moment's hesitation, bent his knees to gather power, raised his hand to aim, and sent the ball soaring through the air in a perfect arc under the lights, settling smoothly into the basket with a swish. A three-pointer. Teammates immediately gathered around, high-fiving and gently patting each other on the shoulders, their faces beaming with bright smiles. Under the lights, their figures standing shoulder to shoulder became the most touching sight on the court, and that pure friendship was especially precious. The defensive play was equally thrilling, with players from both teams giving it their all, not daring to let up for a moment. Though the elementary school students lacked physical strength, their defensive attitude was exceptionally serious. They stayed glued to their opponents, spread their arms to disrupt dribbling, kept their eyes fixed on the ball, and occasionally reached out to gently disrupt the play. Even with limited defensive skills, they never gave up. The middle school students, meanwhile, stood in orderly formation and worked together, using precise defense to block their opponents' attacks. Whenever a younger player attempted a shot, they would jump lightly and reach out to disrupt the shot, never harming the younger players while effectively blocking the shot, demonstrating perfect judgment and a spirit of inclusiveness. Sweat trickled down the boys' cheeks, soaking their shirts and glistening faintly under the lights. Drop by drop, it fell onto the court, leaving tiny wet marks, a testament to their determination and a mark of their passion. The game was filled with heartwarming moments. A young elementary school student slipped while dribbling, falling hard onto the court, and scraping his knee. Frowning and gritting his teeth, he slowly got back up, without crying or backing down. He brushed the dust off his clothes, rubbed his knee, and rejoined the game with a determined look in his eyes. Seeing this, a junior high school player nearby voluntarily slowed down the pace of the game. Instead of taking advantage of the situation to attack, he quietly waited for the younger player to recover and softly said, "Go for it." Those two simple words were full of strength, making the young player feel warmth and encouragement. Even as the players grew exhausted, breathing heavily, gasping for air, and gradually slowing their pace, they continued to cheer each other on, embodying the spirit of basketball through perseverance. Not a single one of them gave up easily. Off the court, the young fans' shouts and cheers rose and fell in waves. There was no mockery, no criticism, only sincere encouragement and applause. This pure goodwill made the night's friendly match all the more heartwarming. With the referee's long whistle, the game officially came to a close. Players from both teams walked toward each other, shaking hands and embracing, their faces beaming with bright smiles. Winning or losing no longer mattered. What mattered was this meaningful exchange that fostered growth, the sharing of skills, and, above all, the forging of friendship. Through the game, the elementary school students learned the composure and skill of the middle schoolers. The middle schoolers, in turn, rediscovered the purity and innocence of their initial love for basketball in the younger players. This match was not merely a simple basketball contest, but a rite of passage that allowed every young player to gain something valuable. The lights still shone brightly, and the laughter of the young players echoed across the court, lingering long after the game had ended. May every young basketball enthusiast hold on to this pure passion, running freely and fighting bravely on the court, and may they carry the perseverance and courage shown on the court into their daily studies and lives. May they grow toward the sun and follow the light, discovering a better version of themselves through every effort and every moment of perseverance. As night deepened, the young players gradually left the court, but their figures, their laughter, and their passion remained forever under these lights, becoming the most precious and unforgettable memories of their youth.